I think that it's a good time for us to go to our next speaker, and I will firstly apologize because I think I've misplaced the two names, and I think you will understand in a little while. So the video that was playing earlier on was not by Ambassador Islam, because Ambassador Islam is the ambassador of the People's Republic of Bangladesh to the Kingdom of Bahrain, and he has been there since 2020, and prior to his appointment there, he was the deputy chief of mission in Saudi Arabia, where he was there for about 5 years. So he's just arrived to Bahrain actually quite timely during the pandemic. So it would be quite interesting to hear also from his side how that kind of transition went, arriving in a period where there's the pandemic and migrants really distressed in that period. And prior to that, he used to be the deputy permanent representative to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and he was there for a couple of years. And in 2.5 decades as a career diplomat, he served as a chargé d'affaires in Beirut. He has been in Australia. He has also been in Baghdad and previously in South Korea. So quite an extensive coverage there. And so I think we can also benefit from hearing his experience as a senior diplomat, as a government representative, that I guess has been looked upon in different crises that has happened in his experience. And the theme of his discussion, I mean, I think he will really then take us through this transparent, efficient, and accountable consular management. I think 3 kind of objectives that that may sound impossible to match, but I think we are ready to hear from him. Over to you, Ambassador.
Thank you, Paddy. No, I understand because of many participants. Thank you for MFA, GRFDT, Civil Society Action Committee, organizing this webinar. And we listened to Paul, Consul General of Dubai. And actually, we know today's topic, the objectives of global compact migration, and the consular aspect is very important in the total migration cycle. And as Paddy was telling that I was in Saudi Arabia, and just I landed in Bahrain during pandemic, actually mid-March I am here. So I have seen actually how it was a difficult situation for all migrant community across the globe, and particularly in the Middle East. In this region, because like Bangladesh, we have about 10 million people working abroad, and out of that, almost 75% they are working in this Gulf this GCC. So in Bahrain, there are about almost 200,000 Bangladeshis working here, and they were severely affected by this COVID, and also they needed efficient, transparent, and accountable consular services. And not only this COVID situation, it is actually required for every time. And Paddy, she was mentioning that yes, we all the time talk about shortage of resources, but this service is very essential. That's why those who prepared this compact, actually they thought about this aspect, because it is very important in the migration cycle. Though we have already Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, 1963, the Article 5, Article 36, I will not go into details. Actually, they talked about this kind of consular protection, assistance, and support for countries, country, and here in migration context, said origin, transit, and destination. So that is there. But why it has been again incorporated in among these 23 objectives? Because still it is needed and also need to be upgraded. And I can tell you from the government of Bangladesh perspective, yes, we are striving to improve the situation. And since we are from South, actually in developing countries, we have actually a lot of allegation about some mismanagement and corruption and some other things related to consular services. So the government of Bangladesh actually looking at that aspect, and also you will be happy to learn that current Minister for Foreign Affairs, who starts in early 2018, after coming to office, he introduced actually one app. It's called in Bangla Dutavas, but in English it is Embassy. That app is being used by many of our missions, and actually in that app, people can access different types of services. And there are some challenges of that apps, and that's why Ministry of Foreign Affairs Bangladesh took a new project where all 78 our missions abroad, they will actually perform in a digital platform, not only through apps, but web-enabled services will be given, so that people, as I listened to Paul, he was talking about this social media and WhatsApp and some other, all these tools are there. So we need to make consular services very transparent one, and also very efficient one, and also accountable. Corruption should be eliminated altogether. And because this migration, migrants who are working in foreign country, any nationality, they are desperate for this kind of service. So there are some aspects, human rights aspects are there, their legal entity aspects are there, and also their vulnerabilities there, and due process should be made. And that's why in this compact, it has been rightly mentioned, and under that 14 objectives, they have narrated some other aspects how to achieve that. And I am hopeful, since this migration platform, the DFMD, and also IOM, international community, and MFA, like this kind of NGO and platform, you are pushing hard to implement this kind of mechanism by the government, by the embassies all around the world, so that migrant community, they get maximum benefit. And particularly those who are in crisis, those who are in need, like COVID-19 situation. This is unprecedented across the world. So we have learned many things, and we look forward to devise a new mechanism, new tool, so that people at stress and at need, at crisis, they get maximum benefit from the consular missions, from embassies around. Thank you very much for giving me the chance of to take part. And I'll be here till another 30 minutes or so. So if you have any audience, they have like to ask any questions, I'm ready to. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you very much, Dr. Islam. I think we can already see some questions that are coming in for you in our chat box, and I think we'll be able to read them to you. And maybe as I give you this this reflection when you will come back, I think the use of ICT and and innovation technology in facilitating services is definitely something that we need to get a hand on. I think that you have also rightly brought the use of social media, because we do know that one of the most important tools in terms of keeping in contact, not just with family members and their loved ones at home for migrants, is the mobile phone. It really is like a #1 asset, which provides not only, it doesn't just provide communication, but I think it provides access. It also one that provides jobs and information, particularly in times of crisis. And I'm just thinking here about also the fact that I think that, many of our countries and yours included would have had a list of undocumented migrants. How do we ensure that we keep them within that coverage? Because their vulnerabilities, if you like, are even much more heightened in times of crisis. So they're undocumented, they're not registered with the embassy, but in times of crisis, like I heard from Ambassador of Benin to China, and we'll hear from him a bit more. He did say that something happens when there's a crisis. Something happens when you do have a crisis. crisis. And even doors that did not open, you want to open them because you need help. How did your embassy capture undocumented migrants in terms of providing support, whether it was with the services that were provided through ICT means or with direct interaction with them?
Thank you. Actually, during this COVID, we extended our services to all, particularly to us, those who are even undocumented. We treat them equally like documented migrant workers because they are ultimately our national citizens. And I can see Anisur from Bangladesh, she was asking about human. Yes, as I talked about transparency, accountability, and efficient service, that means actually we have to be very kind and also polite to our migrant community workers, as well as also giving service transparently, efficiently, without corruption. So that two aspects actually it is there. We are trying to strive for achieving that. There are some allegations I admitted. That's why we want to eliminate those kind of notion and misbehavior and also misspend. I talked about that. So if we can introduce this kind of online mechanism and also transparency open to wide open each and everyone, then we can curtail that. And as Betty, you were asking that, yes, during this crisis, even Governor of Bahrain, we are happy to inform you that at the starting of pandemic, His Majesty King, he announced amnesty to undocumented workers, and many of Bangladeshi workers, those who are not documented here legally without valid visa, they obtained valid visa, and their number has reduced. So this end of December, that facilities amnesty will be over. So I am hoping during this month, remaining few thousand Bangladeshi, still they are not being registered with the government of Bahrain. They will be doing so. And not only that, today's objective is not about that, but I can see in our objective some 18 skill matching and skill upgradation. I have taken a project for Bangladesh community here. Those who have not adequate skill, we will be giving them training and allowing them to absorb in the local job market, so that during crisis they have their skill sets and they can get better jobs, better salary, and so that they can stay legally here. So this kind of actually service and innovation we are continuing, and as I said, there are still many rooms for upgradation, and we have to strive to improve our services, our hard work and diligence, and also broad mind and open mind, and also not always complaining about. I liked your point. It is not always you tell our resources limited. No, we have to extend our assistance and help to our migrant that need. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that intervention. And I